Welcoming you back to cryptos. Juiciest news, baby dolls. Gold. Finally dips below 4,000 American dollars. We've got some cracker information coming your way. Going to speak, of course, about the cryptocurrency prices. Crypto consensus. Everyone's calling for the 4-year cycle. That's actually crypto consensus. Crypto crapper calling for lower from here. President Pump and Winnie the Pooh. We're going to be speaking about more stablecoin supercycle stuff. Tom Lee using the bad word supercycle. Don't like hearing that. We're going to speak about blockchain backer. He is ultra doom bearish. Like he's really bearish. Like whoa. He's turbo bearish. All of that coming your way and more. But Bitcoin green monthly candle. How about that? I mean, like what a surprise. It's kind of crazy to call for the end and you're looking at a green monthly candle. Makes no sense, but also it's indecision, right? Isn't it funny? The candle of this month, friends, represents everyone's emotions, okay? We have people, remember the candle, it's got big wicks on the up and down side, okay? The up part is the massive rejection part. It's blockchain backer saying it's over. It's Ivan saying it's over. It's every other crypto, a lot of these other crypto KOLs saying it's over. Crypto Crappo, Peter Schiff saying it's over. It's all going down to zero. 1 year bear market, okay? But then you also have the wick on the downside, which got bought back up. That's everyone else saying, look, man, I'm just going to keep holding. Haven't seen euphoria. Retail's not here, okay? And we're also thinking, hey, if they went for gold, why won't they come for us? You can't answer that for me because it takes brisk. It takes balls. A lot of people don't have balls, friends, out here. So this is the BTC monthly candle. It's green, I use the monthly candle. Why? My monthly candle is more powerful than your shitty little daily fractal astrology stuff, which, by the way, has got a 50-50 rate anyway. This is the Ethereum monthly chart as well. Ethereum's done a doji. This is quite funny, friends, as well. Friends, there's also some people out here who tried to, and that's okay. I know everyone dunks on each other and stuff out here, but they're trying to dunk on me saying, oh, but you were bullish when Ethereum was 3,700. Yeah, I don't give a shit what it does in a year. I'm holding for 9, 10. I think Ethereum's $1 trillion asset, okay? And by the way, it's actually higher in 12 months. Yeah, it gave you hell in between. It's higher, okay? It's higher. Therefore, Ethereum didn't top out at 3,800, did it? No. The definition, what's the definition of a top? Yeah, that the thing goes down and stays down after that point. If you are higher 11 months from that point, it wasn't the top, was it? No. I guess it wasn't the top. When is the top? I don't know. No one knows. Let's go and look at the Bitcoin price action, friends. This is the Bitcoin price action hanging around here. Very standard. Okay. There's resistance here. We're back to the monthly candle. Remember I told you this is the zone. This is the zone where everyone's just like worried. It's going to be some scamming, right? Are we going to roll down into a bear market? It's all over. Or is something going to happen and go pop? Maybe. We'll see. Remember, the key level is 118,000. Okay, that's it. 118,000. Like, definitively, you say it's on like Donkey Kong at that point. Up here, anything can happen down there. Okay, remember, we have President Winnie the Pooh and President Pump meeting, like literally soon, within days, out here. We have the ETH-BTC chart still hanging around here. It is funny. I mean, like, if they lined up for gold, if retail lined up for gold, why won't they line up for crypto? I mean, they're buying gold at 30 trillion asset. Literally 30 trillion asset market cap. 30 trillion. Why won't they come and buy some shit coins? Okay? They don't care about gold. They're not going to put them in their teeth. They're not going to use them for jewelry. They're there to make a 2x, not even a 50% gain. That's retail. I also want to show you something as well, friends. Let's go move on to gold while we're talking about it. Gold, I made a post. It did dunk below down here. Wonderful to see. I was posting about it literally just hours ago, right when it was here, and I go, look, good thing. It looks like it's going down. I got some tweets out here, which is awesome. Wonderful for gold. Wonderful for us. I'm just going to tell you something as well, friends. Many people, I find this interesting. So I'm just correlating this. Don't know, it's something of the universe. People who were saying that Bitcoin dominance is going higher, who are saying all altcoins are never going up and they're trash, pretty much. In the camp, besides the cherry-picked ones, okay? They're also saying 4-year cycle. And I found something interesting. They were calling for gold not to have topped out up here. Okay? They were seeing all the retailers. They were saying, no, I'm hearing reports that a lot of them were selling. The retailers were lining up to sell. That's what they were saying. And they were saying, no, this time is different. It's central banks buying. It's PBOC. They're all buying. The central banks are buying, okay? They were saying this time is different. And you know what else they were saying, friends? It was funny. They'd come out and they stick their neck out and they go, oh, all you people on Twitter, too many people trying to call the top, therefore it's not the top. It was the top, okay? You being able to identify a few voices out there in the field of dead souls floating around on crypto Twitter has absolutely zero power over the power of all these people lining up to buy gold. You see that? You ever see this? This, friends, this trumps everything. Yeah? You know that. Retail lining up, dude. People in disbelief. It's a believer cycle. Yeah? Imagine I told you, people are going to be lining up to buy this. You'd never believe it. I would never have believed it. I would never have believed it. There was no way. I did not see that coming. Wow, but that makes it easier for us, right? That's we see it coming on the easy side. Here's the total crypto market cap out here, 3.8 trillion. For everyone to be calling for the end, okay, dude. All right, use your critical thinking. I'll use mine. I don't think crypto's topped out at 3.8 trillion. When gold's 30 trillion, by the way. I don't think so. Could top out. It could be all over. We'll see. Ethereum, same price action as BTC, friends, as well. They're not. There's definitely like some resistance area here, but hopefully we get to climb on higher later on. Okay, we just got to battle on through. You know, we've had a bit of a recovery. Maybe Bitcoin goes back down to the $111,000 to close that CME gap. You know, one of these days, though, friends, one of the CME gaps is not going to get filled until like the bear market. That's what happened in that's actually what happened in the last cycle, which I can actually show it to you. And by the way, in the process of seeing that, look at this amazing coin, Mavia. Friends, it did a huge, epic reversal. I know it's still down heaps. It's still down lots and lots and lots. But it's nice to see something just go and squeeze up like that. Like absolutely big, giant reversal. So what I'll do now, I've got the BTC daily futures for the CME. Look at this, friends. So there was a CME gap here. You see that? We gapped at the end of December from 23,500. We gapped up to 26,000. We did a $3,000 gap. It did not fill until we came all the way back. Okay. And funnily enough, which didn't feel funny at the time, there was a gap here from $18,000 BTC. There was a gap and it came back. When did it get filled? All those years later in the FTX collapse. So we had this gap right here. That's when we got filled. Okay. Literally coming all the way back. Actually filled it in the anger phase. Okay. I'm not sure. I think was there a gap here that got filled here? I don't think so. So this one was just FTX massive capitulation. You know what I mean? No gaps down there. I guess that's how you can kind of see, oh, wow, there's no more gaps below us. But there actually was. There's one at 3,000. So just to let you know, that's actually what happened. So friends, there's always a bull and a bear case everywhere, right? When FTX came down here, yeah, I'm bullish. But many people were saying there's the next FTX, the next CME gap is like at 3,600. So that's what, you know, many people caught for that. They said, oh, maybe we're going to go down on 5 or 10K below that. None of these definitely have to fill, okay? They don't have to fill, and they don't have to fill shortly. So this is the Bitcoin CME gap right here. You know, you never know. Hopefully we do fill it, but, you know, it is also possible we just run up 2026, and then later on, 2027, we come back down here and we fill the gap. There's also the gap down here, down at 91,900, okay, on the CME as well. That's why a lot of people like Jams Win, they're calling for this to collapse back now and fill it. So we'll see in the future. You know, maybe Bitcoin 250 back down to 90, some world recession. Who knows? We'll see. Now, since we've spoken about gold and the rotation, it's wonderful to see, friends, because like people freeze, they're like deers in the headlights, and they're like, oh no, this time is different. Look at literally Uncle Peter Schiff top blasting gold, and all the other 4-year cycle guys, pretty much Bitcoin focused, Bitcoin maxi guys, saying, no, this time is different. There's not going to be a rotation. There's not going to be a rotation at all. Literally, as gold drops, is Bitcoin not going up? Is Ethereum not going up? Of course they are. Yeah, Ethereum's above 4,000 now. It is going up. It's kind of funny, man. Like, God's just handing you an underarm and they don't even believe. I'm not even joking. He's literally just throwing underarm pitches. You just got to swing, dude. And they refuse to swing. This is gold, friends. The beautiful part about gold as well, if we go and zoom in, Yes, it's down 9.25%, almost down like the full 10%. I'm sure that's coming. 3940 will come back down towards this 21 EMA. Yeah, when gold tops out, friends, that's what it does. It does like a 10% drop. It can do a full 30%, but that's usually at the end of its big gargantuan multi-year moves. So that's what it might do. Something like that, right? And then it moves on later. But that's all we need. We don't need it to go down. We don't want it to go down. You know, by the way, you can't go down because of all the money they printed, okay? In terms of down, like, you know, crypto styles out here. What's going on altcoin land? I guess we still got to wait. Here is Pulsey McPulse chain. 6% moves here. PDI getting dunked. Everything moving around. Nothing really to yell about here because we still need more, obviously more time. It is what it is. I mean, like, yeah, they needed more time for gold. Maybe we need more time too. This is Bitcoin dominance. Remember, friends, Bitcoin dominance is still under the 10-period moving average on the monthly. Okay, it's on the monthly, which is very significant. And I'd like to show you as well the racist Russell 2000. Let's see how he's doing today. If we check out the racist Russell 2000, he is once again grinding higher. Still grinding higher, friends. It's wild, man. I mean, like BCB just goes like, nah, you're a fib extension. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. Blockchain backer, very interesting. He used ChatGPT AI and DeepSeek to guess what's going to happen here. And then they said we've topped. There's like over 80% chance the whole cycle's topped out. And that Russell 2000 is going to drop down here. He fed it all the data, all the charts, all the cycle patterns of the past. But you got to remember, like, even for BCB, you know, AI just tells you what you want to hear, right? It just fluffs you up, yeah? You know that. So you're sending it correlations and it knows, oh, this person wants to hear about the correlations between the cycles you've shown. Therefore, I'm not going to invent any other scenario. Therefore, oh yeah, 80% chance that the thing's topped out. That's what AI does. So you got to be careful when it comes to that. It doesn't know the actual future when it comes to these. This is the S&P 500, friends. I mean, the S&P 500 is literally freaking doing amazing things. This is beautiful to see. I also want to show you this as well, friends. S&P 500 monthly candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's done 6 monthly green candles in a row. And I think the NASDAQ, this one was green. So NASDAQ has done 7 in a row. I think when you've done 7 green candles in a row, the next month is like, it could be down 2% or something out here. So it could be like, you know, us coming back down based on one of those big cyclical data charts where they check out all that data and stuff out here. But, you know, we'll see if the rotation and stuff happens. So we have stocks through highs. We still got AI powering the economy. But everyone's concerned, right? We've got the FOMC coming up soon. And everyone's saying, you know, when they cut, there's a recession. FOMC's in a day, in 21 hours, pretty much less than 2 days. So everyone's going to be talking about that, right? And so you and I got to play some angel music just to appreciate that. Of course, man. Of course, it's hard. It's hard. You don't know the future. But I'd like to remind you of certain things, friends. Do you remember many people called for left translated cycle last year? Many people at the beginning of last year. And it didn't happen, right? I was saying dark prophecy, but I'm like, still, I hope it doesn't kind of happen. But yeah, like we ran a bit early. We stalled out. They said recession's happening this year. Remember last year, friends, the US Fed cut 3 times. They cut, remember Major Loser Powell? He cut 3 times for Joe Biden. Do you remember? 3 cuts in a row to try get him elected and didn't work. It failed. And everyone said, okay, recession this year. All right? We didn't get the recession this year, did we? We got Trump tariff tantrum. And it's funny, a lot of the people who said recession this year were calling for left translated cycle in 2024. A lot of them sold on the Trump tariff tantrum when Bitcoin went down to 75K. All right, I've got it down here, okay? A lot of them sold down here. I found that interesting because their mind was already made up. Left translated, left translated, left translated. And then Trump causing a recession. Okay, now we go bank. And guess what? They messed with the bull and they got the horns. Okay, now here we are again. What's everyone saying? 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle. So I guess it's possible into next year, there's some sort of dipperoonie. January, February, they go, okay, oh yeah, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle. They think it's going down and then they mess with the bull, they get the horns again. I wonder if that happens. Until finally there's no one there left to call the tops anymore because they're too scared. That's what we're waiting for. Okay, so gold has tanked under 4,000 American dollars. Crypto consensus right now is... firstly, 50% of people just straight bearish. They've sold. 50% of crypto KOLs saying, you know, it's over, 4-year cycle, etc. many of the other percentages are saying, okay, it's one last push and then it's all over. Okay, one final push. Pretty much what that means is they're selling in the next 30 to 45 days. So they're pretty much selling now. You know what I mean? Why are you going to wait that time? You know, oh, you're going to get some magical blow-off in 30 days. Our market cap's too big to have these blow-offs like you think. Okay? From what they're remembering when Bitcoin was like, you know, 10 billion market cap. Crypto Crappo has called for altcoins to immediately drop 70% from here. So, like, once again, if you're a bear, man, you're like, oh, Crypto Crappo is doing the giant down arrows for us again. You know, so that's another thing you have to wrestle with yourself. Looking at BTC and Ethereum's fast fashion fans, this is Ethereum. Remember when I showed you the Bitcoin and gold rotation, I think middle November was roughly the estimate of when the massive stuff would start happening if it was to repeat. So I'm hoping by November we're like kind of here. And then we're ready to go at the end. And it's just guessing, man. We don't know. No one knows. You know what I mean? President Pump said he's going to announce a new Fed Reserve chair by the end of this year to replace major loser. So maybe he's going to put a major winner. And remember, friends, the US Fed will be doing yield curve control. Okay? Yield curve control is de facto QE. It's just with QE, they print money and they market buy bonds. Okay? With yield curve control, they print money and they leave a big bid. Okay, they leave a giant bid on one of the bonds. So nobody can sell under that price. They just leave like an infinite buy wall. You know, it's like you have Crypto Kobe. Imagine Crypto Kobe put a $1.5 billion buy wall on like, let's say some little coin, like whatever it is, some little poop coin. Your favorite meme coin. You know, that'd be like, whoa, it's not allowed to go below this $1.5 billion buy wall. It doesn't actually affect the price to go up directly. He's not hitting market. He's just left the limit order there. It's like a big, giant, thick wall. That's what yield curve control would be. And it's to basically, you know, obviously change people's incentives with how willing they are to take risk, you know. Maybe when they do that, that brings about what we call alt season. Because if you can't get, like, what they do is they will buy the long end bond. They'll buy the long end. So you can't get, like, you know, I know what the long end's trading at now, maybe 4%. Maybe they buy it up so that you only get, like, 2.6%. And like, oh, 2.6% for 10 years, that's trash. So what it actually does is it invites you to take more risk in the short term. Okay, that's how they do it. That's why they manipulate it. But we don't even need it. You got a strong economy. So things are going to have to kind of like go down. That's why, friends, look, even if 4-year cycle kind of holds out, okay, I won't be surprised if when it's time for the stock market to collapse, we've all made a higher low and it shocks everyone in crypto how strong we are. Okay, not that we go up, but we hold the line. Okay, and I think that's just going to happen because we've had a 4 or 5 year freaking altcoin bear market. You only have mega strong hands now. This thing's already like pretty much, come on, man. I hope this is the bottom. You know what I mean? I hope it's all bottom now. So there's no one else left to sell. All the leverage has been wiped out. Look what the Chinese exchange cabal did, right? China's foreign minister says President Winnie the Pooh and President Pump respect each other. So they said they're going to make a deal. Let's make a deal. Yes, make a deal. Let's see what happens in that department. Make a deal. Where's my old season, huh? I want a deal too. Canada is set to unveil stablecoin rules in its next Fed budget to mirror the US Genius Act. Once again, stablecoin supercycle. Okay, massive, massive, massive theme. Stablecoin supercycle out here. Huge adoption. Stablecoin supercycle. It's powerful. Why? Everybody can get a crypto card, debit card. They can load stablecoins on it, and they can spend money. And now you are using the blockchain. You don't even know you're using it, number one, because you're just buying stuff. And you're actually doing something besides like speculative altcoin stuff. Yeah, that's a big, big advantage of it. You just have your stable coins, you know, you don't even know you're using it. Citybug have partnered with Coinbase to test stablecoin payments for faster cross-border transfers. Whoa. Banks are going to be using these rails. That's why, friends, with XRP believed that they were trying to make deals with all the banks to use the tech. The banks are not using the tech at all. Okay, they name like, oh, one bank in like Philippines is using it. No one's using it. No one's using it. Instead, they're just going to use what everyone else uses, which, you know, Ethereum, Solana, whatever it is, Tron, just to send the USD stable coins around. And what, they'll make their own chain, but whatever, they make their own chain and then they'll just use it. But pretty much they're not going to be using just XRP, which is, but you still got an XRP army, and I hope it does well. I really hope it does well, because you got stablecoin super cycle. We'll speak more about that shortly as well. Actually, what we'll do now, friends, I'll show you some blockchain backer charts, because we're talking about XRP and stablecoin super cycle. So this is what blockchain backer thinks. So he's ultra doomish. Like, to tell you this, he has not sold anything like this in like 4 or 5 years. He's ultra doom bearish, okay? He believes what we just saw was the final top, okay? He believes what we just saw was the final top. This is him showing an old chart out here. Here's Bitcoin in his old chart, and he's expecting, okay, we're crashing down now, which is it. So we went up. We have this capitulation. He expecting everything to go to zero and come back in a year. This is his old video, which he showed. He said, look, okay, 2 things going to happen. Either XRP goes to the moon to his $10 mark, or it does the little bouncy ball stuff and then dies. Well, we got the bouncy ball die scenario, okay? Look, man, I know he's bearish and stuff and everything, but I just want to tell you something as well. Look, maybe you just got to be open to the fact that maybe the first cycle alt season is not going to include these dinosaur coins as much as you thought. You know, there's something for you. What if it's just going to be something new you don't know? What if it's like memes and stablecoin supercycle and other stuff that we just don't know yet? And what if only the old season wave 2 is your old dinosaur coins? Okay, like XRP and stuff. This is XRP doing the actual bouncy ball, and it capitulated down, as he said, and now he thinks you're just going down forever to zero. Okay. Which is, it's wild, man. Like, yeah, man, you got to think about it. You're pretty much an XRP believer in Maxi, and you're selling it. You've sold most of your position when it's below, it's 90% below, below its all-time high, on XRP BTC ratio. Damn, man. Look, friends, that's what I told you, man. Like, you know, bears always sound really smart. The case for being a bear is always smart. Like, oh, we've gone up this amount of times. There's going to be a recession. The US Fed's cutting rates because the economy's weak. We're already in a recession. Everything's scam. Nothing's real. Sounds really smart, man. I know it sounds smart. And you're just like, well, I'm just holding because I just haven't seen retail line up like they did for gold. How naive does that sound? Worked out in the past, though. This is his base case. This is what he thinks all of us are doing right now. He thinks we are right here, and he thinks pretty much we are about to die, okay? He thinks it's all over and we're about to die. So that's where we are right here, okay? Like, to mimic this, okay? That's why it'll be interesting if we're heading into November, if China and deal and gold rotation does something like that. It'll be interesting. That's XRP, though, friends. You know, like XRP and its correlation with everything in the market. What if there's just other stuff, man? What if there's just other stuff? You know, we won't know until it's too late, huh? Remember, none of this is financial advice. I don't know what's going on. I just present different cases. I'm like, look, man, like, my job's not to know, oh, next year's a recession or not, okay? That's not my job, because, like, you know, I learn off Warren Buffett, okay? That's, like, the worst thing you can do, okay? My job's just to look for, okay, what's undervalued? Who's a strong hand? What's expensive and who's euphoric? Okay, obviously, okay, altcoins, super strong hands, super depressed. Been going down for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I want to own that. Yeah. Gold. Retail lining up. Uncle Peter Schiff euphoric. Uncle Peter Schiff tweeting that Bitcoin's going to lose the race to $1 million against gold. Gold's going to go to $1 million. He said gold's going to $6,000 by December. It's going up. It's trading up. It's not going down. Central banks are buying. Or the retailers saying, yes, 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 gold, gold, gold. Okay, that doesn't sound like your strong hand, man. Doesn't sound like your strong hand at all up there. So we'll see how it plays out, right? MicroStrategy have added 390 Bitcoin, bringing its total holdings to now $640,000 BTC. I was watching Ivan as well. Ivan's very concerned because MicroStrategy against Bitcoin, the ratio is going down. Says, you know, it's down in the pooper. It's the MNAV is down to 1.15. Yeah, but remember, Grayscale, right? Grayscale went negative at the start of the alt season, which then went for 3 to 4 months. Yeah, and then we haven't even seen MicroStrategy tick at below 1.0 yet. But you know, friends, no one's going to, like, all this information, they see this information, they go, oh, I don't believe it. Like, I just saw Blockchain Backer. Hey, you were covering the racist Russell 2000 with me for 3 years. Why'd you stop? Oh, no, it doesn't count. We're at an extension of it. It's going to roll down. Because I'm serious. He said, I asked ChatGPT, this thing's going to roll down. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, well, now you know why your crowd's angry at you. You're like, wait a minute, bro. You paid attention to this the whole time, and now because you want to sell over 50% of your portfolio and call for a bear market, you're telling everyone, no. Like, I'm presenting information here. You understand, friends? Like, even to people who are nice, there's always bias and manipulation somewhere. Because what they're trying to do is they go, no, I'm a nice guy. I'm presenting you informational facts. I'm just presenting you this. Like, you know, I'm not making an opinion. I'm just presenting you this. Do we know how the game is, dude? I can pull a bull and a bear case out of my butt for each way. Okay, don't be surprised that people are like, you know, saying like, hey, man, this is I feel like betrayed. Like, you know, like you had a model of all these things and everything happening and now you just throw them out. Okay, yeah, what about my chart showing Bitcoin and gold rotation? What about that one? Oh, yeah, whenever gold tops out and gold has dropped 9.35% that we've seen, pretty much almost 10%. Whenever that happens, Bitcoin runs between 9 and 14 months up. Why don't you go off that? Why don't you give that any probability of working out? No, because everyone's biased, friends. People want to sell. They got reasons to sell. Our brains will naturally just create reasons like, oh, I see the bear case, you know? And you know what? Yeah, we got a lot of people who are desperate. They want to get rich. People want to retire. Been holding more than 4 years. It's been hell. I know. Yeah. We all know this. So we'll see, right? We'll see. If Bitcoin's above $118,000 by next month, then that's going to be wild. We have Japanese startup JYPC launching the world's first yen-pegged stablecoin with initial deployment on Ethereum, Avalanche, and Polygon. Awesome. Stablecoin supercycle. We've got Tom Lee says Ethereum remains in a supercycle with fundamentals now leading price, citing surging stablecoin demand. I know, friends, it's scary to say supercycle, but it's only Tom Lee saying it. Okay? We're not saying that. We're like, oh, no, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, no one's saying supercycle. Everyone's like, yeah, more like pain cycle, more like bear supercycle. That's what we feel. Okay, when we feel supercycle, okay, we'll be concerned. We're not there yet. Western Union is going to pilot stablecoin powered transfers for customers across 200 countries. Remember, Western Union, friends, is literally being taken out by crypto. They just do cross-border payments. They charge you like a lot of money, $10 just to send money overseas. They're now going to use stablecoins. A lot of people ask me as well, Sammy, who even will use it. You got to remember, friends, crypto adoption, you and I know it's the future, but there are people that just don't want to change. You know, there are many people out there, let's say over 50, life is happy. They have children. They might even have grandchildren, whatever. They don't want to change it too much for them to send money. You know, they go get their coffee. They buy meat from the butcher and then they go to Western Union and they send money to their family overseas. Do you know what I mean? They don't have any room to like learn. Okay, here's a wallet. Here are your keys. Don't lose your keys. Here's the address. Okay, tell your friends and tell your family over there to get an address, and then you got to send money. Oh, what's a gas fee? You ask. Okay, well, what a gas fee is blah blah blah. No chance to. Just walk in there. They're probably going to pay their payment. Whatever. That's probably how it's going to work until it gets really simple to use. That's why maybe WhatsApp is going to introduce like wallets. I'm just having a guess here. Coinbase CEO Brian Boldstrong says crypto and stablecoins are the tools that will update the global financial system. Friends, you want to know what's amazing? You know, friends, I didn't pick these news out. This is literally all the news of the day. Have you noticed how it's all stablecoin, supercycle, stablecoin supercycle everywhere? It's also Mogged supercycle. Here we go. Bennu, juicy news, Mogged. I love you, sir. Let's get the moggles out. Of course, we're going to get the moggles out. Get the moggles out. Mogged is coming to the future. Pulse Man, lots of stable crap news, but no PAMs. I know. If only it was as simple as, oh, fundamental up, let me buy. If only, right? There's cycles, human emotion cycles, economic cycles. Okay, that's why they all flatten out over time. You just got to buy and believe in something, huh? Okay, where are we going to go to from here? like I say, friends, this is the critical area. This is Bitcoin. Of course, there's going to be resistance here. We've broken through these areas. Let's see what BTC does around here, right? Yeah, I mean, like everyone's calling for it to roll over. James Wynn is short, but this key level 118, you know. By the way, like I said, friends, yeah, maybe we do get a little push at the end of this year. Maybe it's not as big as they expect, and maybe they just cheat in January, February again, and then we really got to roll out the 5-year cycle stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. Don't forget, it loves you. Like, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.